and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Jumai Manson. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free-to-air 9Comsat. Now the news in full. President Bola Tinubu charged Carlos Jose Arias, the newly appointed Brazilian ambassador to Nigeria, to prioritize the establishment of direct flights between Nigeria and Brazil. Ajirin Galale, special advisor to the president of media and publicity, said the president gave the charge while receiving a letter of credence from the Brazilian ambassador at the presidential villa, Abuja. The president expressed Nigerians' commitment to working closely with Brazil to strengthen bilateral relations and advance shared priorities, welcoming the country's presidency of the G20 in 2024. Minister of Education Professor Tahir Mamman says data repository out-of-school children education, teacher training and development and skill development and acquisition policy set up by the Federal Ministry of Education will enable governors know the conditions of schools in their various states. Professor Mamman made the disclosure at the inauguration of governing councils of federal tertiary institutions and Board of Trustees of Tertiary Education Trust Fund. Global Television Sharon Ajay has details.
The Federal Ministry of Education is resolved to improve the sector by providing access to education, regardless of socio-economic background.
Our President Bola Tinubu, recognizes education as one of the key pillars through which we can achieve national development. The Ministry of Education developed a roadmap for the sector that emphasizes transformation of the system to guarantee access to quality and equitable education for all.
While commending the appointees for their previous achievements, Minister of State for Education, Dr. Yusuf Sununu, noted that the new appointment comes with an additional responsibility, urging that they hold on to social virtues while discharging their obligations.
This event marks a significant milestone in our collective journey towards revitalizing and strengthening our educational institutions and agencies. I implore you to approach your duties with diligence, transparency, and a commitment to the greater good of all Nigerian students. The success of our educational institutions and agencies hinges on the effectiveness of your leadership skills.
The Executive Secretary of Tertiary Education Trust Fund, Sonny Ichono, stated that the need to invest in Nigerian youth and their education is paramount.
To be able to prepare our young people, the youths of this country, by investing in them and ensuring that we prepare them not only to exploit the opportunities in our shores, but even beyond, and to also help us find solutions to our national problems and challenges.
Professor Tahir urged those inaugurated to make the most of their vast experiences to bring resources to the country's tertiary educational sector. Sharon Ajay reporting for Global.
The Central Senatorial District, Shehu Sani, has weighed in on the debate surrounding President Bola Tinubu's re-election bid in 2027. According to Sani, the Constitution guaranteed every Nigerian the right to contest elections, stressing that any region can contest. In an interview, he noted that the 2027 election should be contested by candidates from the southern part of the country, allowing the North to produce the president in 2031. The Senate has warned the public against what is described as vicious attempts to tarnish its image and that of its leadership. The Senate position was contained in a statement by the Senate leader's Directorate of Media and Public Affairs. The Senate, while reacting to a petition against its leader, Okpeyemi Bamidele, said it will no longer treat cases of cheap blackmail against it or any member of the Red Chamber with levity. Owners of Ilewa Laga local government ejected by the federal government have called on the government for compensation. More than 200 families who resided in Iwelage in rural community along the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja have been reportedly rendered homeless following the demolition of their homes to accommodate an extension of the presidential air fleet. The demolition was carried out by the Federal Capital Development Authority at the request of the Nigerian Air Force. Over now to the Rivers State House of Assembly, loyal to Governor Siminalayi Fubara, has screened and confirmed Lawrence Okojaja as chairman of the board of the Rivers State Bureau of Public Procurement. Their confirmation took place during plenary at the hallowed chamber of the State House of Assembly in the Government House in Port Harcourt. The 8 nominees had appeared for screening before the lawmakers shortly after the reading of a letter sent by the governor to Speaker Victor Okojumbo requesting the House to determine their stability for appointment as members of the board of the state BPP. Brought to Broth with Bola Tinubu, a support group under the umbrella of the ruling APC, has pleaded with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to, as soon as a matter of urgency, appoint a new minister to oversee the activities of the humanitarian ministry. The group stated this during its distribution of palliatives to APC members in Onitsha South local government area of Anambra State. According to the group's state coordinator, Comrade Parshel Kandel, the inactivity of the ministry over the lack of a substantive minister can be said to be largely responsible for the August protests. That is, the missing link for the intervention programs of the president. The chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa says Nigeria must remain focused on the shared goal of creating a military that reflects the diversity and strength of the nation. General Musa, represented by the Commandant, National Defense College, Rear Admiral Olumuyiwa Oloto, made this known at the 2024 Annual Defense Headquarters Gender Conference in Abuja. Our defense correspondent, Kikelomo Okere, has details. We apologize. That report will be brought in our subsequent bulletin. Meanwhile, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Alagbaja, assured Nigerians that the Army was on a victory path in the ongoing war against banditry, terrorism, and kidnapping in the country. This was, as the Defense Headquarters said, a total of 1,166 terrorists were killed in the operations conducted in August. Lagbaja, speaking in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital, at the closing session of the Chief of Army Combined Second and Third Quarter Conference 2024, said, though the challenges of insecurity in the country were daunting, the military would achieve a clean victory soonest. Some secondary school students who will be affected by the federal government's decision to revive the policy that bars individuals under the age of 18 from taking part in the National Examinations Council and West African Examinations Council exams has called for a review. The federal government, through the Minister of Education, Professor Tahiru Mamman, had said the age limit for candidates sitting for the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination administered by the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board JAM remains set at 18 years. The National Youth Service Corps has said polytechnic graduates or holders of the higher national diploma without evidence of undertaking the mandatory 12-month industrial training will not be registered at the NYSC orientation camp to participate in the National Youth Service. The Corps coordinator in Lagos State, Yetunde Badarimwa, made the disclosure in an interview on August 3, 2024. Where she explained that the Corps members must undergo the 1-year IT with evidence of completion before going on HND, and institutions must confirm this before admitting them to HND. The NYSC had recently introduced a new policy requiring graduates of polytechnics and menotechnics to present an IT certification as part of requirements for the national service, particularly for participation in the camp activities. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention says 48 confirmed Mpox cases have been recovered out of 868 suspected cases across 35 local government areas in 19 states and the Federal Capital Territory. This was revealed in an Mpox situation report for week 34, August 25th, posted on the agency's website. The report, however, showed that no death has been recorded from the disease so far this year. Nigerian celebrated music icon Oyenka Owenu, known as Elegant Stallion, have been laid to rest in Lagos. The artist died on July 30, 2024 at Redinson Hospital, Ikeja, after collapsing at an event honoring the managing director of Emzor Pharmaceuticals, Dr. Stella Okoli. She was 72 years old. The funeral service was held at the Fountain of Life Church in Lukpeju, Lagos, followed by a private burial at the vault in Ikoyi. You're watching News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja, where News Cycle returns. CM turns down Chelsea's offer, opts for Saudi's Al Ali. Details of these and more right after this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Global Television, bringing you live broadcasts of News Cycle. Thank you for staying with us. On our business decks and its ongoing efforts to combat crude oil theft in the Niger Delta region, the Nigerian military has called for the deployment of accurate mentoring system by international oil companies, IOCs, operating in the area to ensure greater transparency. Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, made this call while addressing newsmen in Abuja. Kikelomo Okere tells us more.
The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, stressed the importance of the cooperation from stakeholders in the oil sector, as well as support from local communities to fight crude oil theft in the country. General Buba reiterated that the military will continue to enforce the prosecution of individuals involved in the crude oil theft, recognizing this as a crucial aspect of protecting the nation's wealth.
Was to improve our surveillance of the pipelines and the oil infrastructure within the Niger Delta region. You know that we as military don't prosecute, but we will monitor to see that when persons are arrested and handed over, those cases go through to the very end.
He further stated that troops in the various theaters of operations across the country recorded significant successes, including recovery of assorted ammunition and destruction of 94 wooden boats and the dismantling of 339 illegal refining sites.
To this end, we have prioritized targeting the terrorist leaders, their commanders, their foot soldiers, as well as their collaborators. Already we have declared that all these group of persons, their leaders, their commanders, their agents are all dead men walking.
General Buba, who assured that the operations are being intensified nationwide.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPC, has announced its intention to engage reputable and credible operations and maintenance companies to oversee the operations of the Warri Refinery and Petrochemical Company and the Kaduna Refinery and Petrochemical Company. This was revealed in a statement posted on the company's official X handle. Over now to the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission has given a 1-month moratorium to traders and other markets stakeholders involved in exploitative pricing to crash the price of goods. The newly appointed Executive Vice President of the FCCPC, Tunji Bello, says this at a 1-day stakeholders engagement on exploitative pricing in Abuja. According to Bello, the Commission will begin enforcement after the moratorium. This said that the meeting was to address the growing trend of unreasonable pricing of consumer goods and services and unwholesome practice of market associations. Hundreds of protesters from the Kampan community in Chukum local government area of Kaduna State blocked the entrance to the Kaduna Refinery and Petrochemical Company, demanding compensation for damages caused by toxic chemical discharge from the refinery. The protesters, mostly women who began their demonstration at dawn, carried placards and displayed dead crop leaves, alleging that the chemical discharge had destroyed their farms, killed their animals, and posed a significant threat to their health. On the foreign scene now, the Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada has ended a temporary public policy that allowed visitors to apply for work permit from within Canada. The IRCC introduced a policy in August 2022 to help visitors who were unable to leave the country due to COVID-19 pandemic-related travel restrictions. Under the policy, visitors in Canada could apply for a work permit without having to leave the country. Germany announced that it carried out its first deportation of Afghan nationals back to their home country since the Taliban took over in August 2021. As Berlin faces pressure to crack down on migration, in a statement by spokesman Stefan Halberstadt, he stated that there were Afghan nationals, all of whom were convicted offenders who had no right to stay in Germany and against whom deportation orders have been issued government. The King of New Zealand's indigenous Maori people died Friday while recovering from a heart surgery at age 69, with aides saying he had passed to the great beyond. King Taritar passed away peacefully, surrounded by family, a spokesperson said, just days after celebrating his 18th anniversary of his coronation. He had been in hospital recovering from heart surgery. A year after seizing power, Gabon's General Brice Oligui appears to have his sights set beyond events starting Thursday to mark the coup anniversary and firmly on election next year. The Central African nation's new strongman who deposed President Ali Bongo Ondimba to the end Bongo dynasty 55-year rule, he promised to hand power back to civilians next year. But Oligui, however, seems to be campaigning for the presidential election set for August 2025, touring the oil-rich country last month. While Ali Bongo since then confirmed to his private estate, according to his lawyer and his wife, an eldest son held in condition denounced by their lawyers. His junta-led transitional government has said little about the Bongo family faith. In sports now, Nigerian Super Eagles striker Victor Osimhen has turned down a move to join Chelsea Football Club. The Nigerian forward would prefer a move to join Saudi Arabian side Al Ahly in a 4-year deal with his former employees. Napoli expected to earn €67.3 million plus add-ons for the Nigerian international. Recall that Osimhen had reportedly agreed to join Chelsea on €350,000 weekly pay, taking a major step closer to realizing his dream Premier League move. But some significant news regarding Chelsea target reveals that Osimhen would rather ply his trade in the Saudi Pro League. The chairman of Lagos State Table Tennis Association, Tunji Lawal, has expressed concern over the exodus of players to other states due to a lack of support. The trend, according to him, has seen several players from Lagos being poached by other states ahead of major national championships, depleting the number of quality athletes in Lagos. Lagos has been aborted for table tennis talent, but Lawal emphasized the need for more support to help players reach their full potentials. And that's it on News Cycle, and came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Remember, we're on DSTV channel 365, Star Times channel 276, and free to air. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms by using the Global TV engine and the handles now showing on your screen. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Good evening.